Okay, I'm going to do a quick example for you showing you this is what a delta math assignment might look like. And it's going to ask you to graph a parabola, and it's going to ask you to plot 5 points, including the roots and the vertex. So last class we took notes on the roots and the vertex, and that'll give us 3 points. 2 roots usually, vertex is 1 point, so I need 2 more points. So I'm going to show you how to kind of go about getting those extra points. But first we're going to review how to find the roots and the vertex. So the first thing, it's already in standard form. So I set that thing equal to 0. So x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. Then I factor this thing, and the factoring is going to give me my roots. That's what they mean by roots. The roots are where it crosses the x-axis. So we're going to put an x and an x in the front. That's how we get x squared. We look over here and we're like, okay, I need numbers to multiply to 8, but they have to add up to -6. And so, our options, if we need to list them, we list them: 8 and 1, 4 and 2. Those are the only numbers that multiply to 8. Now, the pair that actually can get to 6, in a case -6, 4 and 2 can be added to 6 if they're both negative. And a -4 times a -2 does equal a positive 8. So I put -4 minus 2. That's a minus sign. Sorry about that. And then this is the part that we were kind of skipping. You would get to this point in class, but we still need to find the roots. And to find the roots, we solve each of these separately for equal to 0. So I have to figure out what makes this 0. So if I add 4 over, I get x equals 4. That's one of my roots. And over here, I set this one equal to 0. And if I add 2 over, I would have x equals 2. So I've got my roots now. It's 4 and 2. To find the vertex, we averaged those, remember? We took our 2 roots, whatever they are, at this point. We get all the way to here, and then I average these 2 numbers. So the vertex is 4 plus 2 divided by 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. Remember, that was our h value. And then to get k, we would plug that 3 back into either this equation here or up into this equation here. If I put a 3 into this one, I would have 3 minus 4 times 3 minus 2. And I want to know what that equals, and that's going to be -1 times 1, which is -1, which was our k value. And the h and the k together make our vertex. So the vertex is now, actually, I'm going to go to a new page. This is getting a little messy. So 4 and 2 are our roots. So I can start to list these roots. This is what we'd already done. Where x equals 4, x equals 2, and our vertex, it was 3, -1. And so we need to get 2 other points. And so I can tell you right now, the fastest point you can get is the y-intercept, because it's always whatever this number is back here by itself. It's when x is 0. So if I put a 0 here and here, that's all gone away. So my y-intercept is always this number back here. So my y-intercept is 8. My roots are my x-intercepts. And then we need 1 more point. I'm just going to show you how to do it. So we're going to click on here to get points. So my roots are at 4, click. That's that one. At 2, click. That's that one. My vertex is 3, -1. That's right there. And my y-intercept is 8. Remember, y-intercept is this one where it crosses up here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 points. I need 1 more. So I'm just going to reflect this y-intercept across. It has to be reflected perfectly across this mirror that goes through the vertex. So notice that it's 1, 2, 3 places to get to where the x value is for the vertex. So I'd go 1, 2, 3 out, and then that would be my, it won't draw your parabola until you have all 5. So you're literally y-intercept and go across. You hit submit, you cross your fingers that it's good, and I get a big check. And it showed you that you can also make a gigantic table if you want. That's always an option. And I just wanted to show you a new problem because see how this has this negative in front? and that's super annoying for everybody. So if you have a negative in front here, once you set this equal to 0, if you don't want to deal with that negative, you can actually, if I have negative x squared minus 14x minus 48, if I set that equal to 0, which is our first step before I factor, but I don't want negatives, you can, in essence, multiply everything by -1. You're allowed to do that. You have an equation. So if I multiply everything here by -1 and this by -1, I have not changed the value of the equation. And if I multiply this by -1, it becomes positive. So that's good news. That means there's no negative in front. And if I multiply this by -1, it becomes plus 14, becomes plus 48. And if I multiply that by -1, it's still 0. And then I'm to the game of, all right, now I got to factor this. And what are the factors of 48 that would add up to 14? And this one has a lot of options, so it's not bad to show this one. I know it's not going to be 1 in 48 because that won't give me 14. 2 goes in there because that's even. 2 goes in there 24 times. That doesn't work. 3, maybe. 3 goes in there. 8 plus 4 is 12. 3 goes into 12, so 3 goes in that 16 times. That's pretty close, but that doesn't get me 14. 4 goes in there. 4 goes in there 12 times. That didn't work either. 6 goes in there. 6 goes into 48 8 times, and bingo. So you see how patient you have to be sometimes to get all the way down to where we have x plus 6 and x plus 8. And then, oops, remember, my x-intercepts are what would make this equal 0, which is a -6, and what would make this equal 0. I'm sorry, that does not look very good. That's supposed to be a plus. That would be -8. And then if I were to average those two things, let me actually try to make this look like it's supposed to, so that you can actually read it. This is supposed to be plus 8, and then that would equal -8. And so now you can plot those on the x-axis, average them, add them together, divide by 2, plug that thing in, and notice on here, your challenge is going to be getting that y-intercept. It's not going to fit on here. And so that's why I wanted to show you. That would be another point, so that doesn't work. So instead, pick another, this is where you have to pick another number, plug it in, find that point, and then reflect it over. And hopefully most of these will have a y-intercept that works. If not, we can chat about it. All right.